was not her startling appearance that stopped him in his tracks. It was the look on her face that sent a sharp chill through his bones and a shiver down his spine, immobilizing his legs. There was only one word to describe the expression in her eyes: fearlessness. Pure and unadulterated, the feeling seemed to seep through her pores and emanate from the very core of her being, an almost palpable energy, focused in a lance-like beam projected from her dark pupils. That was when Reznak knew she was not human. The little girl blinked. Reznak suddenly found that he could move again. His gaze drifted down to her right hand, where the handle of an ugly knife was clasped firmly between her slender fingers. Red droplets still gleamed wetly on the edge of the blade and dropped into an expanding pool by her bare feet. His eyes followed the crimson trail to the dead man lying inches from where she stood. There was a deep, linear wound on the left side of the soldier's chest. By the looks of it, she had stabbed him in the heart. It would have taken the man less than a minute to die. Reznak's gaze shifted to the girl. "Hello," he said gently in German, conscious of the weight of the sword at his waist. "My name is Dimitri. What's your name?" The little girl remained silent. He hesitated. Certain he would not get a reply, he repeated the question in the local Estonian dialect. He was shocked when, in a clear and low voice that was oddly devoid of emotion, she said, "Alexandria." Reznak took a cautious step forward, his eyes never leaving hers. Her chin tilted as she stared up at him. "Where's your mother, Alexandria?" he continued quietly in the same vernacular. A faint frown dawned on her face at his words. "I don't know," she said. Less than 200 feet from where they stood, scores of soldiers fought to the death, their swords and daggers carving through the flesh and bones of their enemies. The harsh breaths of their nervous horses misted the cold air, while musket rounds peppered the ground around them. Reznak took another step forward. "Can you tell me where you came from?" The little girl's frown deepened while she considered the question. "I don't know," she repeated. It was then that he noticed the fresh blood matted in her hair. She had suffered a blow to the side of her head. His gaze dropped to the red finger marks on her arm. His eyes narrowed. "Did that man hurt you?" Reznak asked stiffly, indicating the dead soldier at her feet. Her chin dipped in a brief nod. He stared at her for a moment before slowly squatting down. With his face level with hers, he carefully extended a hand. "Would you like to come with me, Alexandria? It's not safe here." The little girl gazed at him silently. Undaunted, Reznak stood up and waited. She turned on her heels and stared through the thin veil of snow at the river and the city beyond it. The wind picked up and ruffled her hair. He peered at the back of her neck curiously. Imprinted a scant inch beneath her hairline, in the very middle of her delicate spine, was a triangular mark, a trishula. Although generically shaped like a trident, the more intricate details of the design reminded him strongly of the weapons he had seen wielded by fearsome Asian warriors in battles past. It was not a tattoo. It looked more like a birthmark. The knife thudded softly in the deepening snowdrift when the little girl opened her fingers. Still gazing at the battlefield before them, she raised her bloodied hand toward him. Reznak clasped it in his own and was surprised at how warm her skin felt. "Are you my father now?" she asked calmly. "No," he said with a weak smile. He glanced at the top of her head. The dark curls shivered slightly in the wind. Beneath them, the child's body was as still as stone. "Can I call you Alexa? Alexandria is a bit of a mouthful." She gave this some thought. "Yes," she said finally with a curt nod. Chapter 1. November 2010, Eastern Desert, Egypt. Dimitri Reznak mopped his forehead with a handkerchief and muttered a few expletives in Czech. The midday sun beat down relentlessly from an azure sky devoid of clouds. According to the temperature sensor in the Jeep that had brought him to the desert from the city of Aswan, it was 37 degrees Celsius in the shade. It was technically winter in North Africa.